What is up? In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to build Jurassic Park style fences. If you're new to the channel, be sure to stick around to the end where I'll be showcasing some dinosaur pens that I built using everything I'm about to teach you in this tutorial. Also, if you end up liking this video and want to see more art content, consider subscribing to the channel because I got more on the way. So with that said, let's get to it. Alright, so I'm going to be showing you guys how to make two different versions of this fence. First version is just going to be a basic beginner, style fence. The second is going to be a more advanced version, and I'll get more into that when we get there. But first up, when it comes to the beginner fence, I'm going to be using these stone foundations. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to place 4 of them. And as far as when it comes to how wide one of your fences are going to go, when it comes to like the beginner stuff, I wouldn't go less than 4 foundations. And when you're counting, you always want to count on the inside of your fence. So for example, I got 4 here, and I want to go 4 this way. So when I'm counting, we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, because we're counting on the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just go 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So once again, like I said, when you're counting, always count on the inside. As far as the beginner stuff goes, once again, no less than 4 foundations. And you can go more as well. It's completely your preference. But as far as this tutorial goes, I'm going to stick here with this design. So once you got all of your foundations placed for your dino pen, the next step is to take these stone quarter wall pieces, and you're going to want to place them on the inside edge of the foundation pieces that you just placed. And you're also going to want to flip it so you don't see this wooden stuff from the outside looking into the pen. So I'm just going to go around the edges real fast. Alright, so now that those are placed, the next step is to place these vertical stone pillar pieces. And I like to place my first, the corner pieces first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these pillars, and rather than snapping it to this quarter wall piece, I'm going to snap it to the foundation piece. So it'll stick up just a little bit from the quarter wall piece. Just build that down just like that. Go to this corner. All right, so once you got your corners placed, the best way I can describe this is, as far as the fence, think of it as 2 separate builds mashed together to form one build. And what I mean by that is, so we have these pillars that are placed, and we're going to be placing some more pillars on the inside in between these posts. But instead of connecting it to the foundation piece, we're going to connect it to this quarter wall piece. So see how it runs flush with the wall pieces, and it's just sunk down just a little bit from these corners. So I'm just going to do that to the middle of each of these sections. And it's real nice when you're sticking with like a 4 foundation width. You can just for every 2 foundations, you can go a certain pillar or whatever. So anyway, once I have this sunk down just like this gives us the ability to build on 2 separate planes. So you have one plane being, this height, which would be like these taller pillars. But then you have another separate plane, which is going to be this height, which is going to be just slightly underneath that first one. And that's going to give us the ability to really squish the horizontal beams closer together to give it that electrified fence look from that you'd see like, in like Jurassic Park or something like that. So once I got all that stuff placed, we're ready to start building the fence, actually up. So for this tutorial, I'm just going to build this up just 2. So I'm going to place these first. These are the thicker of the pillar pieces, because these ones in the middle, we're going to switch over to the stone thin pillars. I'm just going to build these up 2 as well. Just like that. And then to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, now that I got both of these pillars placed at different heights, I can take, let's see, I'm going to take the stone beams, these are the thicker versions, and I'm going to connect these to this middle piece that's sunken down just a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of follow this wall here. And a perfect example why we have these, I can connect the stuff here, but I can't connect it here because this piece is not on this plane. So you just connect those pillars to the correct plane. And then from here, I'm going to switch over to these metal pillar variants. I'm going to switch over to the metal thin beams, and I'm just going to connect these right here. All right, so now that that's finished, technically you have a fence. It doesn't look great, but this will contain dinos and whatnot. But because we have the different heights of pillars, I'm actually going to follow up, and rather than connecting more pillars to this beam, we have this beam where I can connect pillars to, and it's going to really close these gaps. I'm just going to follow these all the way around. All right, so now that you have all of those placed, I'm then going to take these stone thin pillar pieces, and I'm going to take one and I'm going to snap it to this this metal piece right here, to where it makes this thin pillar on the same height as these corner pillars. And I'm just going to do that for each of these middle pieces. And once those are placed, I'm then going to take my spray painter, and this is going to be, I believe, steel. Yep, steel coloring. I'm going to paint these smaller pillars. All right, now those are painted, I'm then going to take more of these stone beams. I'm just going to follow around the outer side of the of these foundation pieces. Just like that. And once those are placed, I'm then going to take the metal quarter wall panel, and I'm going to switch over to the metal railing. I'm just going to place those just along the edges as well. All right, and once those are placed, the last thing we need to do is add our warning sign. So I'm going to take a painting canvas, and I'm just going to snap it just right here, right off of just one of the vertical beams. And I'm going to take a brush, going to paint, and I got this one saved, so I'm just going to apply the paint. All right, and with that placed, that's going to complete the basic version of this build. So jumping on to the more advanced version, let me clear this real quick. We're going to start off by placing our quarter wall pieces. And for this advanced version, this is going to be for your builds where you got a lot more like turns and more rounded fence areas, and it's just not going to be blocky or whatever, to where you can stick to your 4 foundations wide or whatnot. In this instance, we do have portions that are going to be 4 foundations wide, but like this section, that's only 2. This is 1. This is another 2, and then back to 4. So we're kind of getting away from the beginner stuff, and there's going to be a couple extra steps in order to get the fence built up when trying to build for a more advanced layout. So once you have your quarter wall pieces placed, I'm then going to follow up, and I'm going to be placing my my corner vertical pillars. So like in this instance, anytime the wall changes direction, I consider that technically a corner. So I always use the bigger pillar pieces on those corners. So I'm just going to get these placed real quick. All right, now that those ones are placed, I'm then going to follow up with the smaller pillars. I'm going to sink these down. So these steps sort of remain the same. So, you know, I've got this one, skipping 2, sinking that one in, skipping 2. That one's going to be big, 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 big. Skipping 2, and then sinking that one down. So now with this, I'm going to build this up real fast. And for this tutorial, I'm only just going to build it up 1, just because you guys have an idea now. And you can build it as tall as you want. It's just repeating the process, you know, each layer. All right. And then this little area and this little area should be pretty easy. So I'm just going to throw this together real fast because this is pretty much the same as the beginner build. All right, so once those are built up, we're actually ready to move on to the areas that I say are the advanced portion of this fence. So what you're going to want to do, you got this little area, and you want to connect these horizontal ones to these vertical pillars. But the issue is, when you go to place them, they don't want to snap the direction that this wall is going. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to place quarter walls, and you just build it up to wherever your top horizontal metal beam is going to go. Once those are placed, you're then going to take stone ceiling. You're just going to connect them at each section where you're going to require a horizontal pillar. So for this instance, I got them just like that. I'm going to connect those here, and then from here, I'm going to connect these. All right, so once those are placed, then you can go back through and you can delete all the stuff that you don't need. Uh-oh. So we have an issue. So that top one didn't want to stay. And the reason for that is because when it comes to each section, you need to have a higher and lower pillar so those can snap to the appropriate height. So when it came to when we first built it, both of these are the same height. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to sink one of these down. And the easiest way to explain this to where you don't run into any issues is I would just switch it every other one. So for this one, you know, you have it connected to the foundation. Let me delete these real quick. All right, so that one's connected to the foundation. This one's going to be connected to the quarter panel. This one's going to be connected to the foundation. And then this one's going to be also connected to the quarter panel. So now, let's build these up real fast. All right. So now, just going to redo the same thing, and it should work this time. All right, got everything in place. Let's see. Build these over. All right, everything looks correct. So hopefully when I delete these, we're not going to have any issues. All right, it looks like everything stayed. So just to kind of recap, every section, you need a higher and a lower pillar for these guys to connect to. So when it comes to this, like I said, just every other one. And like this makes it easy for these longer sides because you have more of an ability to place pillars at the certain heights versus like these little sections where you only have like 2 or 1 foundation to work with. So the last thing for this is just to make sure all these pillars are the same height. So I'm just going to come back through here with these bigger stone pillars. I'm going to connect this pillar to here. So that's now all the same height. Connect this one to here, so that's also the same height. I'm also going to finish the front portion of the fence and the same steps as the beginner version. It's all the same. All right, and then to finish it up, got to place our electrical warning sign. All right, so we got that placed, and then also something if you really want to spice up the build. Got a metal billboard. Let's see, let's place this right here. Normally I would center it up, but for this build, I'm going to kind of quickly place it. And I'm going to apply some information regarding the dino pen that we're building. All right, so we got that, and I'm pretty certain that our electrical fence is probably not high enough to contain a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but we're going with it. So if you guys are interested, also, I do have these warning signs posted on my Discord. They'll be under the resources tab, so depending on when you're watching this, you might have to scroll a little bit, because I plan on adding a lot more for the resources tab, and that's going across a bunch of different games that I play. And these signs are also probably going to be added. So once again, those are going to be posted in my Discord under the resources tab. If you guys aren't members, I do have a Discord invite link that's on my YouTube channel if you guys are interested in this stuff. But yeah, so once you got all of this stuff placed, that's going to complete the fence.